Bleach is a shonen series written and illustrated by acclaimed mangaka Tite Kubo, which first came out in 2001 and ran for 15 years until 2016. Though the series has seen a resurgence with renewed interest in it caused by the recent release of the 1000-Year Blood War arc, it has been 8 years since the manga received a new arc to continue the story. He had published a special one-shot story called Bleach No Breaths from Hell, also known as New Breath from Hell in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine, to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the title's debut in the magazine. This is the only piece of Bleach-related work that has been published since the end of the 1000 Years Blood War arc in the manga. For the most part, fans had lost hope that we would be getting any proper additions to the manga or anime. It had been over a couple of years since the full Bring arc ended in the anime. The same could be said about the chapters that the 1000 Years Blood War is based on, since it has been over 2 decades since the manga got an update. This all changed with the release of the 4-part anime arc by Studio Pierrot called the 1000 Years Blood War arc in 2023. It gave renewed hope to fans that Tite Kubo hadn't put down his tools for this beloved franchise. With the current arc that is airing already being halfway done, fans are already speculating and looking forward to Bleach's next offering. As this current arc is based on the final chapters of the manga, there is no source material to turn into anime. Thus, all eyes have turned to the one-shot series in the hopes that Kubo will expand on it and release what fans are calling the Hell arc. With the author constantly hinting that he would be working on this new presumed arc, we have reasonable cause to believe that this might be happening sooner rather than later. In this video, we'll gear you up with everything you can expect in the upcoming Hell arc of Bleach while we wait together in anticipation. So let's get right into it. The world post the 1000 Years Blood War. The one-shot series, No Breath from Hell, from which we gather most of our information, is set 12 years after the 1000-Year Blood War arc events. The world of Bleach looks to have carried on forward, welcoming several changes, as most people seem to have grown past the tragedy of the war. The changes that the Hell arc is expected to bring to the characters and the world are expected to be very similar to what the show Boruto did to the characters in Naruto Shippuden. You can expect many updates in character design to reflect the passage of time. Ichigo and his friends are in their 30s and have moved on in their life. Soul Society itself has seen vast advancements in technology and quality of life, as television is now a thing and the residents are able to watch all the latest shows from the world of the living. Also, their communication device now resembles a smartphone with video calling features. Life seems to have treated our favorite characters well, and it's cool to see them as adults, having grown past the tragedy of the devastating war against the Quincy. We knew that at the end of the war, Ichigo and Orihime, along with Renji and Rukia, had gotten married. You'll be happy to know that they've all settled into parenthood quite comfortably. Kurosaki Family. Ichigo and Orihime have a son named Kazui Kurosaki. Much like Boruto, the boy seems to have inherited both his parents' looks to a degree. We also know that he possesses spiritual powers and is probably a Shinigami in training. Although it's not fully explored in the manga, he looks to us like he can summon spirits and open portals. Kazui likely has a vital role to play in the upcoming Hell arc, which we'll discuss later in this video. On the other hand, Ichigo still retains his powers and works as a translator in the human world. Orihime, on the other hand, seems to have settled down as a full-time homemaker. We don't know much about Isshin Kurosaki, his father, along with his sisters Yuzo and Karen Kurosaki. As his sisters were largely absent during the events of the 1000-Year Blood War, we can expect life to continue on for them, having settled into their roles as aunt. It would be interesting to see the fate of Isshin. Having regained much of his Shinigami powers towards the end of the last arc, we expect him to play an essential role during the Hell arc. The Abarai Family. During the original run of Bleach, we're not really given much insight into the Abarai family. What we can tell you, though, is that in the Hell arc, there are a few new members, one of whom you might be familiar with. At the end of the 1000-Year Blood War, we see Rukia and Renji have married each other. Just like how Orihime and Ichigo are now proud parents, they too have been blessed with a child named Ichika Abarai. She is shown having the same hair color as her father and a feisty attitude. We know she's a Shinigami cadet training under Madarame Ikkaku, who also trained with her father back in the day. Renji has been transferred from the 11th Division, where he served as the 6th seed of the 11th Division under Zaraki Kenpachi, who has been promoted to the rank of vice captain of the 6th Division under Byakuya Kuchiki. Meanwhile, his spouse, Rukia, is now the captain of the 13th Division of the Gotei 13. The son and daughter of Kurosaki and Ichigo seem to have a close bond. The Kurosaki and Abarai family will have a prominent role in the upcoming arc. Other characters. Let's now talk about the rest of the cast and what to expect according to things we already know about them. Madarame Ikaku now runs a martial arts dojo with Ichika as his pupil. We know that he's currently the vice captain of the 11th Division, replacing Yachiru. Since it's a family dojo, we speculate that Shino was revealed to be a member of the Madarame family, as well as helping to run the dojo. Kon, the artificial soul, is set to make an appearance as well. We know that he acts as a guardian and playmate to Kazui Kurosaki. We also know that Kisuke Urahara has survived the war, as most of the inventions, such as the television, are credited to him. There are some die-hard Urahara fans out there, and we're happy for you. There are a few new members to the cast as well. Rindo Atao, the 7th Division's vice captain, and Yuyu Yayahara, the vice captain of the 8th Division. Both of them seem pretty powerful and have interesting abilities. We see Rindo's Shinkai, and his ability seems to be to summon some sort of Shikigami birds that devour his enemies, while Yuyu, who is modeled after a Gyaru girl, has an ability with which she seems to channel the powers of a spirit bear that she uses to dismember her foes. Fate of the Gote 13. The Gote 13 is the military wing of the Soul Society, and as the name suggests, it's comprised of 13 divisions or squadrons tasked with protecting the Seirete. Each division is led by a very powerful Shinigami who holds the rank of a captain. Even though they mostly operate independently, they do answer to the captain of the 1st Division, who also holds the rank of Captain Commander. We know that the members of the Gote 13 have changed quite a bit, considering the need to fill the roles of those who lost their lives during the Thousand-Year Blood War arc. The deaths of Ukitake, Unohana, Komamura, and Yamamoto Genru Yusai left their respective squads without a captain. As such, this is some trivia about the Gote 13, along with their current composition that you can expect in the Hell arc. 1. Captain Shunsui Kyoraku leads the 1st Division with Nanao Issei and Genshiro Okikiba as his co-vice captains. It's one of 2 squads to have a dual vice captain system. Shunsui is the replacement for Yamamoto Genru Yusai, who fell in battle against Yuhavak and is therefore also the captain commander of the Gote 13. 2. The 2nd Division remains largely unchanged, with Soifon as its captain and Marachio Omaeda as its vice captain. This unit is still closely tied to the Onmitsukido, or the stealth unit, due to Soifon retaining her role as the leader for that as well. They boast the most extravagant barracks due to their vice captain using his personal fortunes to renovate them. This division can also be considered the stealth and recon division of the Gote 13. 3. The 3rd Division was led by Izuro Kira, their vice captain for the longest time after the betrayal of Gin Ichimaru, which left them captainless. The new captain of the squad is the former member of the Visored and the 3rd Division's former leader, Rojuro Otoribashi, who has been reinstated to that rank. He had already assumed this role during the Thousand-Year Blood War, so he isn't a new member of Gote 13. Rojuro is a formidable Shinigami. The fact that he was already a captain 100 years ago speaks about his strength, combined with his hollow powers. He is an undeniable powerhouse. 4. The 4th Division is the medical or supply squad of the Gote 13. It was previously led by Unohana Retsu, who died battling Zaraki Kenpachi during the previous arc. She succeeded in her role by her former vice captain, Isane Kotetsu. We've yet to see any incredible feats of power from her over the course of the show, leading us to believe that she is probably the weakest of the new captains. Having to replace the first Kenpachi and an excellent medical expert in Unohana is undoubtedly something that works against her. The new vice captain of the squad is Kiyone Kotetsu, Isane's sister. She is one of the new captains of the Gote 13. 5. The 5th Division, which is the former division of the traitor Aizen Sosuke, is currently led by the visored captain Shinji Hirako, with Momo Hinamori as his vice captain. Shinji assumed this role sometime after the defeat of Aizen. We know Shinji is an extremely powerful Shinigami, and if it weren't for plot armor, due to his broken Bankai and Shikai, he alone could have ended all the arcs in Bleach. 6. The 6th Division is well respected for its strict adherence to the rules and is considered one of the most powerful squads in the Gote 13. They are led by their long-serving captain, Byakuya Kuchiki, and their new lieutenant, Renji Abarai. Byakuya's strength is nothing to sneeze at, as he performs multiple feats of strength during the course of the series. In a power ranking of captains, he probably falls just below Kyoraku and Kenpachi. 7. The 7th Division is yet another squad that has a captain who's new to his role. Tetsuzemon Iba has received a promotion and is now the captain after replacing the deceased Sajin Komamura. His vice captain is the latest character we're introduced to in the Bleach New Breaths from Hell one-shot manga called Rindo Atao. We don't know what Iba is truly capable of. Hopefully his character gets some development during the Hell arc. For now, he, along with Isane, are 2 of the weakest captains in this new Gote 13. 8. The 8th Division needed a new captain after the transfer of their former captain, Shunsui Kyoraku, along with their vice captain, Nanao Issei, to the 1st Division. The role was bestowed upon Lisa Yadomaru, the division's former vice captain before Nanao. Having been exiled due to her becoming a vizard, she was given a place among the captains of the Gote 13 by her former captain, Kyoraku. Her vice captain is yet another new character, and her name is Yuyu Yayahara. 9. The 9th Division's captain is yet another reinstated visored captain named Kensei Mugurama, with Shuhei Hisagi and Mashiro Kuna acting as his vice captains. Kensei is an extremely powerful Shinigami who excels in close combat and was reinstated sometime after Aizen's defeat. 10. The 10th Division is part of the Old Guard, with Toshiro Hitsugaya retaining his captaincy. Their vice captain is Matsumoto Rangiku. Much like its leadership, not much has changed in this division. Hitsugaya is the youngest and one of the most powerful captains in the 13 divisions. His potential is said to be off the charts, with his Zanpakuto being the strongest ice-based Zanpakuto in the entire Soul Society. 11. The 11th squad is traditionally the squad led by the current Kenpachi of its time. It is led by Zaraki Kenpachi with Ikaku Madarame as his vice captain after the position was left vacant by Yachiro Kusajishi, who turned out to be Zaraki's Zanpakuto spirit. In order to become the captain of the 11th squad, one must defeat and kill the current captain in front of the entire division. Only then can they assume the role of captain along with the title of Kenpachi. 12. The 12th Division is led by the eccentric Shinigami scientist Mayuri Kurotsuchi and is assisted by Akon, the former third seat of the division, after the death of Nimu Kurotsuchi in the war against the Quincy. The division is the tech unit of the Gote 13 and is responsible for developing new tools and weapons. It houses the Shinigami Research and Development Institute and was previously led by the humble shopkeeper Kisuke Urahara. 13. The 13th Division is the last division of the Gote 13 and is also home to another new captain, Rukia Abarai. The vice captain of the squad is Sentaro Kotsubaki, who also served under its former captain, Jushiro Ukataki. We see Rukia being inducted to her rank in the final chapter of the 1000-Year Blood War arc. The 13th Division is also responsible for taking care of Karakura Town, which is the hometown of Ichigo. This iteration of the Gote 13 is considered the weakest by many as compared to the absolute juggernauts that previously held this position. There are a total of 4 new captains, not including Kyoraku, as he has simply been transferred to a different squad. We believe that the story of the Hell arc is going to revolve a lot around the Gote 13 captains of the past and present. This was another reason we decided to not only give you the updated roster of captains, but also a bit of information about the various divisions. The beginning of the end. In the one-shot manga, New Breaths from Hell, we find out that 12 years after a captain's death, a ritual known as the Konso Reisei is performed for them. It involves the killing of a hollow in front of the deceased captain's grave. This is done because individuals who are at the captain rank or above have too much Reiatsu, or spiritual energy, for their Reishi to be naturally absorbed back into the Soul Society. It's a variation of the Konso ritual that a Shinigami performs on a soul in the human world, purifying it and allowing it to pass on to the Soul Society. While looking for the hollow to sacrifice for the Konso Reisei for Ukataki, they are attacked by hell beasts, followed by the appearance of the Zaila Poro, the 8th Espada, who was killed by Mayuri Kurotsuchi during the Arankar arc. He reveals the true nature of the ritual to the vice captains, and Shunsui Kyoraku tells the captains. We learn that the Konso Reisei is not truly a ritual that helps in the absorption of the captain's Reishi back to nature, since such a potent Reishi can never be truly absorbed and, if left unchecked, poses a severe threat to the Seirete. It is, in fact, a ritual that sends the souls of the dead captains of the Gote 13 to hell, essentially condemning them to eternal damnation. With Aizen Sasuke missing and the death of Yuhavak, their immense Reiatsu that had helped keep pressure on the gates of hell to keep it closed no longer exists. Furthermore, due to the recently concluded war causing the deaths of powerful individuals such as Unohana and Yamamoto Genryusai, along with other powerful captains, and the Konso Reisei sending their incredible Reiatsu to hell one after another, the balance had been broken, and now hell's doors were being forced open from within its realm. Potential foes and the final antagonist. The fact that the Konso Reisei has been performed probably since the inception of the Soul Society leaves us with the tantalizing prospect of being introduced to some of the most interesting and powerful characters in Bleach, which would not only make for great foes, but also increase the possibility of expanding on the history of the Soul Society and the rest of the worlds. Imagine if Unohana is the leader of all the fallen Kenpachis who are now in hell. If the strength of Unohana and Zaraki are anything to go by, the former Kenpachis will undoubtedly undoubtedly make for mighty foes. We hope we get to learn about the identities of the other Kenpachis and some other backstory regarding them. Besides the Kenpachis, even the other captains down there could very well be set up as the next villain in the arc. They could be corrupted by Hell or controlled by some other powerful entity, and maybe by defeating them, Ichigo and the gang can finally set their spirits free. The one thing I'm most excited about is the current captains of the Gotei 13 going up against the members of its first version. The first members are widely considered to be the most powerful group in the Gotei 13's history. Yuhavach even mentions them as nothing more than the most ruthless killers present in Soul Society, adding the fact that they are all captain-ranked Shinigamis. We will surely find them in Hell. We hope the arc will shed more light on the individual members and their fates. Something that not many people have considered is that in Hell, we could even meet the first ancestors of the 5 noble houses in Bleach, especially coming right after the arc that sees the defeat of Yuhavach and the demise of the primordial world, with the ancestors in action along with the Soul King in his prime. The fact that Zailaporo refers to Yamamoto Genryusai as the court guard founder and Retsu Unohana as the Angel of Death gives us an indication that there is a hierarchy and a system in place, much like the one that exists in Soul Society. He also mentions someone called the Warden of Hell, who seems to be an omniscient being, as the former Espada recognizes Ichika as Renji's daughter thanks to this entity. The job of a warden in a prison is to ensure its smooth running and to see that the inmates are kept in check. Hell is a kind of prison as well, within which resides the vilest of souls. If the door to Hell is being opened from within, we can assume either the warden is dead or he's the main antagonist of the new arc. Considering that Zailaporo referred to the warden in the present tense, we think the latter might be the case. The identity of the warden is a mystery. It could very well be someone from Soul Society's past, but we have our doubts about that. This is because we know that Hell has been around since the time of the primordial world, before it was split into the 3 realms of Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and the world of the living. According to some sources, one of the reasons that the ancestors who betrayed the Soul King stole his power was to seal the mouth of Hell. This could mean the final antagonist of this arc could very well be a creature far more ancient than even the Soul King himself. Character and focus. Kazui Kurosaki, the son of Ichigo Kurosaki, who is part human, hollow, Quincy, Shinigami, and a Fullbringer, cannot be an ordinary child. Not to mention that his mother is Orihime, who herself has spiritual abilities. In the new arc, we suspect that Kazui will play an important role based on what we saw of him during the one-shot manga. We think he's a pure-hearted child, but is extremely innocent and is being manipulated by someone from Hell. It's speculated that he's able to summon spirits to him to do his bidding. He is also seen opening a portal, which is definitely not a Senkaimon, or a portal used by the Shinigami to travel from the Soul Society to the living world. This portal resembles a wide open mouth with several jagged teeth. It looks like a portal to Hell more than anything. Also, the presence of the Jigokucho, or Hell butterflies, as he opens the portal is an ominous sign that our suspicions are correct. Zailaporo even states that Hell has always been super close and asks the Shinigamis whether they've ever wondered why the Jigokucho, or Hell butterflies, have the word Hell in their name. We are sure that Kazui Kurosaki is a character to keep your eyes on when the Hell arc does eventually draw. We can see his involvement putting Ichigo into some very precarious positions. Marvelous verdict. The title of the one-shot manga, New Breaths from Hell in Japanese, reads Gokui me me hen. The critical part is the last part of the title, which reads hen. The word is usually used in anime and manga to denote the title of a story arc. This is what gave steam to the idea that the new arc was going to be the Hell arc, as it says so right in the Japanese title. We have to wait to see what direction this new arc will take the characters towards, whether it will be more like Boruto, focusing on the adventures of the newer characters, or if it will continue to have Ichigo and Co in the spotlight. Tite Kubo has continued to drop hints and still answers questions raised by fans on Twitter. He mentions the reason Yamamoto Genryusai is in Hell is that the spirit erasure properties of the Quincy arrows only apply to the hollows. This is why his soul was not destroyed by Yuavach's arrows during the battle in which he lost his light. If he was truly done with Bleach, there would be no real reason to continue engaging with fans and fueling speculation. When asked about when the Hell arc was going to be released, he replied he was uncertain as to when it would be out, since he hates feeling like he's being forced to work. It's our sincere hope that it's sooner rather than later. We hope that with this video, we were able to give you an idea of what to expect from the Hell arc of Bleach. The manga is long overdue for some new material, and we, along with Bleach fans across the world, wait with bated breath for the Hell arc. Maybe, seeing the overwhelming success of the 1000-year Blood War arc and noticing there's still a great demand for Bleach, the reclusive author will grant our wishes. Until then, we'll be enjoying the final 2 seasons of the 1000-year Blood War arc just like the rest of you. We hope you enjoyed this video. Meanwhile, stay safe out there and keep those Zanpakutos sharp. There's a war coming.